Howdy guys, Jimmy Song here again. And in this video, I am going to talk about something a little more philosophical. I'm going to talk about how Bitcoin is essentially metaphysical. Now, for those of you that don't know that much about metaphysics, it's, you can think about the physical world as one thing, and then sort of like the description of the physical world as the metaphysical. If you're into computer science or whatever, you know that there's data and then there's metadata. It's data about the data. And metaphysics is sort of like a description of of everything that we, in the material world, if you will. So you can think of, like the disciplines of physics or chemistry or biology as metaphysical, and even something like mathematics, which is also metaphysical. What's interesting is that something like money is in itself a little bit metaphysical, right? Like, because for a long time people used gold as money or the medium of exchange, and it had these physical characteristics that weren't all that useful, except for the fact that it was highly uniform, right? Like you can find gold pretty much like wherever you found gold, it's the same gold as long as it's like purified and so on. It also doesn't really corrode or degrade very easily because gold as an element doesn't really react with anything else. It's pretty divisible, fungible. It's relatively portable because and the most important property, it's very scarce. So for that reason, it's tended to be a very good store of value, medium of exchange, and even unit of account to some degree. Now, that's what gold is, but all those properties that I just mentioned are sort of at a level above that. It's what you would call metaphysical, in the sense that value itself is metaphysical because it's in the minds of people, and not like it's not matter, right? In the sense that like I may value something, but it's something in your mind, or something on a plane that's not like the physical material reality. In much the way like an idea is. An idea is metaphysical because it's not like matter, or it's not something like in the physical universe. It's something in your mind, and the fact that you can talk about an idea with somebody, like especially stuff like mathematics or whatever, tells you that this is something that's objective. It's not completely subjective. You know what I mean? Just because it's in your mind. 2 + 2 = 4, and like conceptually that works and it describes reality very well. But the actual 2 + 2 = 4 is a metaphysical idea, and the fact that we think that's true and that most people would agree that's true changes sort of like how you might look at it. Anyway, with regard to Bitcoin, the fact that Bitcoin is money is first of all, like, money is metaphysical. So when it has sort of like a physical presence, like with gold or with like physical cash or something like that, there's sort of a little bit of a disconnect in the sense that you give this thing a value, but then it can sort of also it has all of the vulnerabilities of something that's in the material world. So when it's physical, when it's gold or something like that, or paper bills, somebody can kind of take it away, right? Like they can seize it, they can find it on you, or they can lock you up and prevent you from going to wherever it is that you hid it, and so on. So it's a weakness in a monetary system when it has a physical form for that reason, because in essence it can be taken away from you kind of without your consent, as long as the person as long as the people that are trying to get it from you have access to your person or something like that. Now, what Bitcoin allows is truly interesting in the sense that, it lives entirely on the metaphysical realm. It's first of all, it's computer code that's running. Now, those are hosted on machines and so on, but the actual the actual ledger and so on, it's metaphysical. It's there whether or not it's on your computer or not, if that makes sense. It's a shared sort of like metaphysical reality that we all share, and that in of itself is interesting. But because Bitcoin's in the metaphysical realm and doesn't have a physical form, it turns out that there are all sorts of security properties that you can add along with it. For example, it's secured by a private key. That means that the Bitcoin itself is locked to some secret that you know in your mind and not on any physical thing. Now, you could, of course, like write down your seed on a piece of paper and lock it up somewhere or whatever. So you had the option of securing it the same way that you would anything physical. But you can also secure it entirely in your mind. You can memorize your private key or some way to derive the private key entirely in your mind. And that makes it really interesting because that means that somebody can't really seize it, right? Like they can try, but they would need to torture you enough to get it out of you. And if you're like, if you don't want to reveal it, if you think this person is going to do like some sick evil things with it, and you think it's not even worth your if you think that evil is greater than whatever your life is worth, then it might be worth not revealing that secret. So in that sense, it's because money is metaphysical, having Bitcoin also be metaphysical, it's a good match, right? Like it makes it so that you have all of the security that you would want in the right plane or in the right realm, if that makes sense. Anyway, I rambled a bit. I'm not sure if I made myself entirely clear, but hopefully that helps you. This song is done.